What's up YouTube, Jay Travelin here, and today I want to talk mainly about my What the Flux rig and pretty much think it's complete. I may tweak it a little bit, not just with overclocks, but it does have a 3060 Ti on it. So I might upgrade that to a 3070 down the road. Now I will most likely have to take a loss on the 3060 Ti due to the fact that it is LHR. But let's go over the rig, and there's been a lot more GPU shuffling around. If you notice behind me on the test bench, there is no GPU on it. The Asus TUF is now sitting on my temporary rig until I get my Octominers, which it'll end up going inside one of those once that has arrived. But as of filming this video, they have not yet shipped. But let's talk about the What the Flux rig. So this rig consists of two 3080s, one's a 10 gigabyte LHR and one's a 12 gigabyte LHR, and it also has the 3060 Ti it's the for the win edition, but it's just a triple fan version. It also has two 3070 EVGAs on it. One is a for the win, one's an XC3, and then it also has the one I just added to it, an MSI 3070 Ti. Now the fans on the rig, I do like to mount them on the inside, but the 3070 Ti MSI card was way too big, so I had to mount them on the outside for just that GPU. So it does look a little funny. I'm not too fond of that, but it is working and I don't want to mess with it now. Now, if you guys remember this motherboard, the Gigabyte one, it's the one that I had issues with previously. Now, the issue I had with it is when I tried to flash it with the mining BIOS, it did not take well and crippled the actual motherboard, so I was only able to register 4 GPUs at the time. Now, one time I was trying to put another motherboard on the Strix Z270, and I was having issues with that and could only get that to register 3. But while I was messing with that one, I had the Gigabyte board off of it and had the CMOS battery taken off of the board. When I put the CMOS battery back in it about an hour later, it completely wiped my BIOS and set it back to factory defaults and actually the factory BIOS that it came with. So it was a little strange that it reset the actual BIOS version, but it did do that. I guess it had it saved in the memory, and it actually registered 5 GPUs. Now, I was hesitant for a while to flash it back, but today I decided let's take a shot. Everything was working. My other board, this worked fine. And when I flashed it, I used a Q flash, did the intact, and it flashed in about 5 minutes. And when I went in there, 4G decoding was in there. It didn't say mining mode like some others did, but it registered 6 GPUs. Now, I did dual power supply this one, and that it has a 750 watt server power supply, and that is only powering my 3070 Ti. And it's only powering that because the other 2000 watt ATX power supply that Red Panda was gracious enough to give me has been powering the other GPUs just fine with no issue, so I didn't want to mess with that part of it. But I have 6 GPUs on the motherboard. Now let's go inside the computer here and we'll look at the hash rates, we'll look at the rig, and I'll do a quick revenue on it as far as Flux. Now, what to mine is what I'll use, and I'll put the hash rates in and I'll estimate my power consumption. I am pretty much maxed on that bank now. It was at 11, but once I added that card, it pushed it to 12, so it's just over 12 amps on that bank. But my other one, since I took the 1070 Ti off and put the 1070, or not 1070 Ti, 3070 Ti on it and put the 3070 full hash rate card, it runs a little bit lower wattage, so that bank is on 10, so I am fine on that breaker. It should not trip. But let's go ahead in here and we'll check it out. So this is the rig, and I did update it so you can see some memory temperatures, and we will refresh it because it has been running for only about 15 minutes now. And I am using mini Z miner since these are 30 series cards. It seems to work a little bit better. My 3080 12 gigabyte, I'm not too thrilled with on Flux. It just doesn't seem to be performing too well. That card might be more beneficial for me to put on low miner. Maybe I'll make a video on that and we'll put it on low miner and see what hash rates I can get with it there. But that will crank my memory temps up pretty high on that since I'll have to push it. Now, my core, I use 200 and my memory use 700 across the board, and I changed my power limits. Now, some may argue with me here because they'll say, well, I can push my 3070s a little bit harder and get more hash rate. But if you remember me talking about the power at the wall, I'm at 12 amps. So I really don't want to push it any more than that. And the efficiency I'm pretty happy with. Now, I'm not running this full bore like some would say and argue with me about that, saying I'm pretty much losing out on revenue. And you are correct, I am losing out on revenue, but I'm also not spending all that money in electricity. At the end of the day, it could even out. I could still be losing out on some profits, but I don't want to risk tripping a breaker or running my bank too hard and messing up either my PDU or even run the risk of a fire if it's pushed too hard and the breaker doesn't trip. Now this is just inside the miner here. You can see it actually mining away and doing what it's supposed to do. Now these, if anyone that's mined Flux, these numbers will fluctuate pretty big. More at the pool side than on your Hive dashboard. This will average it out and pretty much show you a good average of what you're mining. And then at the pool side, it'll fluctuate a lot, and your power can fluctuate also just a tiny bit. And you can see my efficiency ratings here. So it looks like my 3070s and 3060 Ti are probably my more efficient cards. And then you can see my 3080 down here at 0.29 souls a watt. Just not really efficient, but I'm going to leave it on Flux for now because I do want to stash up some Flux into my wallet for keeping. Now, let's check it out. So 390 souls total, and I'm running roughly 1160 watts. So we go over to what to mine. I'll say 1260 because I like to be safe. And we said I was running 390 souls. Now, I do have other cards on Flux, so I believe I have 2 separate rigs on Flux and a couple random cards across rigs mining on Flux, also with dual flight sheets. So 390 is not my total at the pool, but I'm going to calculate it at 13 cents a kilowatt hour because that's roughly what I would pay where I'm at. So we'll calculate that. And it's saying that on Flux, this rig is estimated to bring in revenue of $12.37 per day with a profit of $8.44 per day. Now, if you want to look at a profit margin, yes, running low miner could possibly, I mean, not possibly, it'll be more beneficial or profitable to run it on low miner mining Ethereum, but it would also possibly even bring down a few of my wattages a little bit lower, but it would also crank my memories up and my memories would get pretty hot. Now, I could mine the Ethereum and convert it to Flux, but this, I don't know how well this factors in the parallel assets that would earn weekly. It does say that it does bonus rewards included by default, but I just don't know how accurate that is because I believe I mine more than that a day, so it is really hard for me to really judge it. But at 7.6 Flux per day or 7.7 Flux per day, I'm pretty happy with that. And eventually I would like to get a Flux node, so I'm going to keep on mining it. But, you know, that's just the cards that I've been shuffling around. My one rig is up and running with 6 cards. I'm pretty happy that I got that motherboard to accept 6 because when I did my research and bought it, people were running 7 GPUs on it, and according to Gigabyte in their BIOS, it says I can get an adapter, run a 7th GPU on it. I'm not going to. You can run it off the PCI, or not the PCI, the M.2 with an adapter, but I don't need to go down that path. I'm just going to leave it as a 6-card rig. And the fans that I did use are on 3000 RPM, 154 CFM fans to help cool down the cards, especially the 3070 Ti's and 3080s. They typically run a little bit hotter. But, you know, thanks for checking this video out. Let me know if you guys are mining Flux, if you're going to stick to mining Flux, or if you're going to, think it's more beneficial to mine Ethereum using a low miner with, I think it's up to 78% LHR unlock, and then convert to different coins for holding. But, I'd like to hear what you guys are doing. But thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.